And good evening, everybody. This is the AATBirds post-game recap. We're going to recap the Eagles' 33-18 victory over the New York Jets. So, it's a good post-game. We were thinking about having it. We weren't sure, all depending on the time frame. But Eagles are off next week. I thought it's a good game to talk, about the Eagles' victory. I got Mike here with me, and we're going to talk some Eagles. So how you doing, Mike? First, how you doing? And
Great.
I know we saw each other earlier at the pregame show, but now I see you in the square. But how's it going? What are your initial reactions on this 33-18 victory?
One of the things I said on Wednesday was I was curious if Jalen Hurts didn't play, which as we saw, what's up, Adam? Good to see you today too.
Good to see you, Adam.
I wanted to see what the offense looked like without Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. I think what we see is what Nick Sirianni really wants. There was really good balance just looking at the box score. Miles Sanders, 120 yards on 24 carries, still has yet to record his first touchdown of the season, but he averaged 5 yards a carry. I love this guy. 3 catches for 22 yards, so nothing crazy, but I'm just looking at the box score here, and
What's up, Chris?
we know. Hey, Chris, we know that Minshew is more accurate than Hurts, right? Look at this. Goddard, 6 catches on 6 targets. Quez, 3 catches on 3 targets. Kenneth Gainwell, 5 for 5. Miles, 3 for 3. The only one that didn't catch all of their targets was Devonta Smith, actually. He had 4 targets and only 2 catches for 15 yards. So I liked what I saw. I liked the defense in the second half. But I will say, hey, you know what? This was probably one of the better Jets-Eagles games than we've seen that I remember ever.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't remember.
Especially the last number of years. Usually there's been
games.
Yeah, Luke Falk game. The one game, I think the one in 2015 may have been a little bit closer, but then the game back in 2011, they got blown out. But so I know Chris has a question here. Vinny Curry, I guess he had some type of medical situation early in the year. I don't know if it was with his kidney or with his spleen. Like, I'm not sure exactly.
I actually think it was some sort of blood disorder.
Okay.
Look, that's a good question, Chris. They were talking about that on a podcast I listened to. Let me look that up for you right now, okay?
Yeah, because he, of course, did not play. And he's a fan favorite here. He did a lot for the city. But go ahead, you have it.
So this is from August 25th. Defensive end Vinny Curry to miss New York Jets season due to complications stemming from a rare blood disorder. It required the removal of his spleen, and it triggered complications that caused him to miss the entire season. So, Vinny Curry is 33.
Yeah, I don't know what his future holds.
He's planning on playing next year, he says. So we'll say, hey, listen, all the best to Vinny Curry. I've loved him since the day the Eagles drafted him. Was sad to see him go, but glad he came back, and I wish him the best, honestly.
Absolutely. Health comes before, being able to play football. So
100%.
Hopefully he gets fully healthy there. But, the Jets offensively were moving the ball up and down the field on the Eagles. And that's something I want to start off and talk to you about is the defense, because I know I sent you a message saying that this defense just looks awful. And
it did at that time.
At that time it did. And then all of a sudden they started to, turn things around because, and I also did mention as well, Zach Wilson started 10 of 11. For the rest of the game, he was 13 for 27. He finished with 60.5% completion percentage. So 60, if you want to round up, 61% completion percentage, which is very good. If you look at the last 3 games, the Eagles the defense was giving up the most completion percentage, the highest completion percentage of any defense. And it was also of any defense ever. So, that was concerning. And the last 3 games, they've done a really good job to be able to kind of, stop that. And, that number's drastically starting to go down every game. But I like what the defense did.
For sure.
They got some pressure. And the thing I really like, I don't know if you noticed it, but on situational third downs, moving Fletcher Cox to the outside and rushing from the end position, I really like that.
I do too.
I feel it helps him in terms of working with his pass rush, because you can pass rush, in the interior of the defense, but when he gets to the outside, he has so many more options that he can do, different types of moves he can do, and I feel like he's doing well. And it's good for them to be able to switch up and do those kind of things.
let's not forget too, when Chip Kelly was in town, Fletcher Cox did play defensive end in that 3-4 scheme.
The
So
3-4
this
scheme.
is something that he has, in his tool chest that he can do. You're talking about the defense. They allowed 70 yards on 17 carries for the entire game, only 4.1 yards per carry. But the game got out of hand in the second half, so the Jets weren't running as much. Yeah, they adjusted really well. But I will say this: even though the defense was porous in the first half, at least it was exciting football, right? Like it was back and forth football.
It was
I know we always
it was
want our team to blow the other team out, but it was fun.
it was exciting because they were able to score points also. So,
Yeah, darn
and
well
it
good.
did help that the Jets kicker could not kick the ball through the uprights. And then they basically, just told them, just go sit down. We're not gonna. And even their punter couldn't punt the ball either. They had a lot
Oh
of
my
issues
god.
special teams wise.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will be talking about some of the penalties and all this kind of stuff because Salah was literally screaming his head off after every
Oh,
call or everything. He was very, very heated. But I know Adam has a question here about Miles Sanders and Kelsey. There is no word. I know there was video of Kelsey walking gingerly into the locker room.
same with
Hopefully it's nothing
Sanders.
serious. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Same with Sanders. So this bye week is absolutely needed. It's much needed. I love to see that to get them healthy, get some rest for these players. The latest bye week of any team in the NFL. So get yourselves healthy. You got a big game coming up with the Washington football team. So you need to get healthy. But, looking at this game and looking at the offense, and, Adam has a comment here. Minshew opened up the offense. But Sirianni did say Hurts is still the starter, which I still believe Hurts will still be the starter.
We figured that was going to happen, though.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
exactly. And did you notice when they panned to Hurts on the sideline, he walked like it was one play, and then he started walking, and you could see he had a little bit of a limp. It was a tiny bit. You can kind of notice it a little bit.
You see,
And
I hate when they focus on the guy that's not playing. It's like he's not in. Can you please just show me the game?
well, they need something to talk about because
Talk about the game.
yeah. Well, yeah, James Lofton, I understand he's the color commentator and everything, tries to get as much info out there, but Alex Singleton is not a rare coverage linebacker, which he did say later in the game.
That was bad.
And then they showed the graphic of him and JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and it's just not needed. I understand what they're trying to do there, but it's just not needed.
Yeah, we get it. You know what I mean? Like we get it. JJ
Exactly.
sucks. Thanks for.
But again, I had a feeling that Hurts was not going to play just because of the ankle, and like I said, that turf is awful.
Yeah.
And to be able to cut and jump step, he needed some rest. So Minshew comes in. Minshew targets Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert has a big game. I know Chip's happy because he
Huge.
started him. He went against your advice before we started our pregame, and he started Dallas Goedert.
No, hold on a second. I said I would have leaned Dawson Knox, but if he started Dallas Goedert, I can't blame him. Backup quarterback security blanket, 6 catches, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That sounds like a security blanket to me.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
I agree with you. And thanks, Rich. How's it going?
Hey, Rich.
But it's just you look at this game, and it's definitely something they needed, and it kind of can put a tiny bit, to rest, the week prior because it's a game they should not have lost. If you take a look at the Giants got beat by Miami. The Giants just aren't a good football team. They were able to bounce back, and they were able to put together a good game. And like you said, 50-50. They ran the ball for 185 yards. And,
which I thought they would go for like 150, so I was wrong on that one, but I'll take it.
I think that the last run by Gainwell really helped push that up to snuff, if you want to say. But no Boston Scott this game. He just basically played special teams.
Which you and we were texting about that earlier. I can't believe he didn't get a single offensive touch. I could have sworn I saw him get one. Maybe it got called back by penalty. It's hard. We stayed at the West End a little bit to watch the game, so when you're in an environment like that, easy to miss stuff like that. Plus,
oh yeah,
I'm trying to watch the game. My wife is over there. I'm like, come on, but
I better hope she doesn't watch this because
she doesn't watch this.
Okay,
but I was surprised.
She sees enough of you. She doesn't want to hear you.
Oh, for sure. I was surprised no Boston Scott, but listen, man, Kenneth Gainwell, when I scouted him coming out of Memphis, he's way better than I ever saw scouting him. 12 carries, 54 yards. He got a touchdown. It was a nice touchdown run,
too. It was very nice.
And then 5 catches for 33 yards. So the average wasn't that great. It was only 6.6 yards per reception. But I think that this game shows us one thing, especially personnel, whoever's in there. Nick Sirianni can coach. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that now. He won a game with his backup quarterback. And I get it. People are going to say it's just the Jets. It's also an NFL football team. The Jets are 3-9. Let's not forget they lost last week to the Giants. You know what I mean? Like anything can happen in the NFL. Anything.
Yeah, and JD's not all for the Minshew mania. I understand what he's saying. You know, a lot of people.
He's a Steelers fan anyway.
Yeah, well, Steelers did get a W, so he should be happy. He should be happy.
Oh, yeah,
they won.
Oh, that's right. Because the Ravens went for 2. Good job.
The Ravens, they're not that good, honestly. You know, they've gotten lucky a lot of the games, so that's really crammed up. AFC is getting even tighter. But
how about the Lions, by the way?
Exactly. The Lions helping the Eagles, though, too, because now Minnesota's 5-7. We'll get into that a little bit later about some of the other games when we close out here. But I wouldn't say the Minshew mania is a curse or anything like that. My thing is, if something happens to Jalen Hurts, you know you have a capable backup. And the thing with Jacksonville, you know a lot of teams in this league need good backups and starting quarterbacks, and you got rid of Minshew for just a 6th-round draft pick. You could have probably got more than that. You held on to him. So it's pretty bad on the Jaguars side. And the thing about it is Minshew mania, whatever you want to call it, to me, like I've talked to you and stuff. I know Jalen's the quarterback going into next week. I want my team to win. I don't care. I don't care who you put back there. Just get the win and look, competitive. And they looked competitive today. Of course, like I said, you're playing the New York Jets. I understand that, but hey, you're able to get the W. You moved to 6-7. You got your bye week to rest up, and then you control your own destiny. If you want to make the playoffs, you control it because you play Washington twice, who is 6-6, and you play the Giants and Dallas. So the ball's in your court. It's time for you to be able to extend what you want to do, extend this season and get into the playoffs. And we'll talk about that and everything like that. I know people are like, well, the Jim Mora playoffs, but hey, they're in the A spot. They're half game out. So
yeah, I mean, hey, this year the playoffs expanding is definitely gonna help. I did see that Minshew said he didn't poop because he ain't accepting number 2.
The Eagles, all the Eagles players, Jalen Hurts, whether it's Jalen Hurts, whether it's Minshew, whether it's Sirianni, they always have these references. Okay, it's funny.
Just win football games, man.
Just win football games.
That's all I want.
Yeah, and of course we talked about that Kelsey and Sanders going down, but hopefully they're good to go for the next because Nate Herbig is not the backup center. Please, he is not the backup center because he.
But with Sayamalu out, if Kelsey can't go, like who else?
Luke Juriga, you got to bring him up from the practice squad. Apparently, he'd be the guy, and that's a huge drop off because Jason Kelsey does so many different things.
So I missed it. When Kelsey was out for a little bit and Herbig came in and played, of course his first snap is like 1,000 yards behind Minshew. I did see that. Who did they bring in to play guard?
Honestly, I did not see that because I was in the other room and I heard fumble and then it was 4th down. I'm going to say it was Sua Opeta. That's going to be my guess. I'll have to go back and look.
And Kelsey speaks very highly of Sua Opeta too. So that actually resonates a lot to me is when Kelsey raves about a guy, especially another interior offensive lineman, that makes me pay attention. Yeah,
because I like Sua Opeta too. I know they're high on him. Herbig is, to me, he's just a guard only. I know they want to try him at center. I know they want to do it. I just think he's not quick enough and he's a little bit bulky. And
I agree.
The thing is, his snaps, he's trying to get off too quickly. And I feel like that's my biggest issue with it. At guard, I think he fits fine, especially right guard. I think that fits him. And, he's a good backup that can come in and start every once in a while. Like I said, I expect Brandon Brooks to come back in a couple weeks. That's my opinion.
Right now we need him.
And it would be great to have him. But Ryan's saying here, could the Eagles slide back into 7 seed on their bye week? I'm not sure because I don't know if Washington loses. I think they still hold the divisional record because the Eagles are 0-2 in the division and Washington is 2. It would be 2-1 if they lose. And San Francisco has a win over the Eagles. So if San Francisco loses next week, they're 6-7. So Eagles still would stay in that position basically. So
I'm bringing it up right here.
yeah, so they probably would still stay in that position. But again, they play Washington the next week. So, the biggest thing for this week is to get healthy. Yeah, Marcus Epps had a nice interception, overthrow right into his hands. That's, you
Doesn't
got to
tell me
catch
anything.
it.
Why do I just tell me what the playoff picture is, and don't make me pick my team.
You're going to the wrong website. That's the problem.
It's the NFL.com website.
Wrong website.
All right.
If you just type in NFL standings,
did type NFC playoff picture. Let's see. Let's go down to So we're the 8th seed right now as it stands.
And 7 seeds get in the playoffs.
The 7th is San Francisco right now. So if San Francisco loses,
they're tied with us, and
they would have the same record as us, but they have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And the 6th is the football team. So yeah, I would say it's pretty unlikely that we would move up on our bye week. Yeah. Without, we would have to have been playing and then San Francisco losing. So, hey, we control our destiny right now, and we'll see.
Like I said, the last month month and a half almost, maybe I could say, has been fun. It's back to kind of getting to be fun again. Not this. They're winning and they're winning a little bit, convincingly. They're scoring points, and
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, you have to be optimistic, and you have to be optimistic looking at the adjustments that Jonathan Gannon's making. Yes, they struggled a little bit in the first half, but again, he adjusted. He adjusted in the second half, and they were able to stop the New York Jets. And then you look at Nick Sirianni and the way he's running the offense, and whether that's Gardner Minshew in or Jalen Hurts in, he's able to design the offense to be able to, help whatever quarterback is back there. And they're able to run the ball with Minshew, and they're able to run the ball, with Jalen Hurts, and they're doing different things. And you have to give credit where credit's due when you're looking at Nick Sirianni. Look at how many points per game they're putting up. They just put 33 up. So I think, they're doing so much better than the last couple of seasons with Doug Peterson offensively.
What color Gardner Minshew jersey should I buy?
Or, what you could do? It may be cheaper. If you have a Deshaun Jackson jersey, you can buy a nameplate.
I do have a Deshaun Jackson jersey. Did I give it away?
I don't know. I don't know those questions. But you can always buy a Minshew jersey. That's fine. I was just waiting for somebody to wear number 11 so I can just, replace, a nameplate on one of my authentic jerseys. But I will have to wait maybe another season for that. But that's a subject. Maybe Jahan Dotson will get drafted and I could put Dotson on the back of number 11. But again, we'll, hit that when time is due. But
I would love if he did.
What other things did you like from this game earlier today?
I just really liked the flow of the game, and I thought the balance was fantastic. There wasn't too much running at times. There wasn't too much passing at times. I loved how balanced the play calling was. I really did, and that's what I want to see. And Adam says Sirianni's putting together a good game plan the last few weeks. I absolutely agree. And Johnny, I know you were texting me that you didn't like the end of the drive before the half, but they got the field goal this time. And I understand why they ran the ball with 56 seconds. They had 3 timeouts. Honestly, I was in the car driving home. I said to my wife, I'd run the ball here because you had all your timeouts. So I would have actually done that if I was the head coach. They got the point this time.
They didn't use it. They could have gotten more than what they did. They kind of, I felt like it was a little bit scary. So they held up a little bit on that instead of attacking. They kind of played a little passive offensively, and they had all their timeouts.
This is the game to do it, though. If you're going to be passive, this was the game to do it and try different things because I liked it. I liked the flow. I liked the adjustments by the defense was just huge. Gannon is growing on me a little bit, and I think once we get some guys in here that can actually make his scheme what he wants it to be, I think we're going to be good.
I think the other thing, and I think something that was great was they didn't officially rule out Hurts. He was limited in practice. So,
I don't
you
know why
know,
they did that.
well,
Oh,
if
one thing that we need to touch on too. Um, Steven Nelson did leave the game.
shoulder injury.
Yeah, McPherson came in. I thought he played okay.
Yeah, he played all right. Like I said, my biggest issue though is them deactivating all those corners. Why have all those corners if you're going to deactivate them all? Because if you get an injury or two right
They're
now,
not playing for these guys.
then you're moving Avante to the outside. Josiah Scott's playing, and then you have all these. You call up a practice squad safety when you could just play one of these corners on special teams. So right there, that's the only thing that kind of concerns me a little bit. I understand they don't play as many defensive backs, they don't rotate as many guys in, but if you have a couple injury, and I know Darius Slay kind of hit his arm, the one plane he was holding, and I was hoping he wasn't going out because then you would have seen Maddox go to the outside and probably Scott play inside or Marcus Epps play inside or do whatever they do.
Or
Um,
Shashiri.
yeah, or him.
Who knows?
But again, I think they may go a little too much with deactivating all the corners, especially if you get some injuries. There's a reason you have all these guys. Just sit them. I think it's a little bit. These guys have been here a while. Mac McCain's been here since the beginning of the year. I know he was on Denver and then back, but Kerry Vincent's only been here a few weeks, so that I can understand. But Tay Gowan's been here for well over like a month, almost 2 months. So
I think he's hurt.
is
right
he hurt?
now.
Okay.
I think so.
So
Also, Ryan Kerrigan with the tackle today.
he had a he did have a pressure too. He had a
That
pressure. I
was
did see it. I heard his
Chip's
name
birthday
called.
present.
Yeah, I heard his name called. But it's just
He's terrible.
yeah, I know. But
I hate him.
coming to a little bit of a conclusion to the post game. We weren't gonna have a super long one. Eagles beat the Jets, moved to 6-7.
Let's
You know,
go.
nothing you can say, but hey, I want some meaningful football in the month of December. That's always fun. The weather's
And
getting
January.
real cold and January. Exactly. We want to have some meaningful football. We haven't, last year was a struggle, a big time struggle. Even though there was meaningful football, but I really don't know if I would call it meaningful football because
It wasn't meaningful for us. It was meaningful for the teams we were playing.
yeah, I guess you can say that. You think Hurts will be ready after the bye? I do, but
I think
again,
so.
this is what I'm gonna say because I know the Jets. Bryce Hall said, it didn't matter who was playing quarterback; they prepared the same way, which I think is a lie.
That's a lie. They're two completely different quarterbacks. You can't prepare the same way. You just can't.
So that's why I'm gonna say they're not gonna rule Hurts playing right away because they're gonna play that game with Washington. Who's Washington going to try? It's two totally different defensive game plans. If Jalen Hurts is in there, you're going to play totally different than if Minshew's in there.
I mean, he was practicing this week, so I think he was close. And I think if there was a game next week instead of the bye, I feel like he would play.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they just want to give him, the time to heal up because his asset is his legs and what he can do, in that run game and what he can do to defenses with his legs. So, for me, that's why. But again, I did see something else, and it's a former like quarterbacks, scout. It's a tweet that I sent you, but it's the same guy, but he said something different. He goes, sometimes quarterbacks, when they watch another quarterback run their offense, it helps them, in the meeting room. It helps them on the practice field because they're seeing things from somebody else doing it and sometimes that helps them as well. Which is something I didn't think about that until I read that and then, pondering that question, that thought that he had. And I said, that's actually really interesting because it does make a little bit of sense. If you're watching somebody else, hit some open reads that maybe you missed or something that you held on the ball a tiny bit too long, that if you let it out a little bit earlier, you would have hit the guy. And I think that's one thing if Jalen Hurts gets rid of the ball quicker, like when he knows someone's open, get rid of it. Yeah. I don't know if he's, doesn't want to turn the ball over, but if he gets rid of it quicker, he's still going to get the ball to the receiver and it's going to help him. So maybe that'll help him down the road, but he definitely, in my opinion, is the starting quarterback against Washington after the bye.
I agree.
It's going to be him. But again, you found out what you have in Gardner Minshew. If he winds up getting hurt or if he's not 100% or something happens, then you at least have a capable backup that it's not like you're turning it over to Nate Sudfeld or, quarterbacks that aren't very good.
Reed Sinnett.
Yeah, Reed Sinnett.
Yeah.
And, So Stoutland rushed to the hospital during a game. I heard something about that. And I'm not sure. I didn't read it. I didn't hear anything else. I don't know if you have anything.
I did. I heard he was being checked out. He was not on the field to start. I didn't hear about him they just said he was checked out. So I'm assuming one of the team doctors or some sort of medical staff at the stadium looked at him because he was back out there for the second half, I believe. So, who knows? It's that time of year where there's crap going around all the time. Like,
Well,
could have been, there was an illness going around. Maybe he was just a little dehydrated, something like that.
Because Boston Scott had the flu, it said, because he said the flu and then, people complaining about my fantasy or about their fantasy and had like a handshake, an Eagles win on his one Twitter post he had. I saw that before we came on here. So having the flu and having to try to play, that's, playing a game of football,
it's tough.
Lose some weight, you gotta make sure you're staying hydrated, all that stuff. So, that could have been a reason why he didn't play, just maybe on special teams, just because of little fatigue, stuff like that. But we'll run down the rest of the games this week, and then we'll wrap it up and close it up. But so taking a look at the rest, unfortunately, Washington did come away with a victory over the Las Vegas Raiders by 1. And I thought Vegas, Trevon Moehrig, he almost had a game-sealing interception, and he dropped it. But the Buccaneers beat the Falcons 30-17. The Cardinals win 33-22 over I'm stuttering there. Chicago Bears.
Andy Dalton looked like trash.
Yeah, because he is trash. I was told by a Dallas Cowboys fan last year that Andy Dalton is one of the, top 20 quarterbacks in the NFL. Again, I was a Dallas Cowboys fan, so you can't really take much of what they say.
No credibility at all.
Not at all. Especially, yeah. I could go on a tangent. I won't. Chargers beat the Bengals 41-22. Now I want to see what Joe Burrow. His one pinky finger was super swollen. I'm not sure what that has to do, if anything, in the realms of that. We spoke of it earlier. The Detroit Lions come away with the first victory, 29-27 over the Minnesota Vikings.
I love it.
Minnesota's a weird team. Mike Zimmer.
When are they going to fire that guy?
Exactly. Talk about somebody with a super long leash that doesn't deserve it.
He's got to have dirty pictures of the owner and compromising. I mean, the guy underachieves every single year. Kirk Cousins is not that bad. But
the problem is Mike Zimmer is a defensive coach, and their defense looks like crap the last couple of years.
Right. But in that division, they should at least be getting in the playoffs every year. Even as a wild card. And they don't.
Nope.
They just don't.
They underwhelm.
They do.
The Giants lose to the Dolphins 20-9. The Colts win 31-0, and Carson Wentz does not play the full game, so he is only at 74%. So we have to wait till next week for him to get to that 75% threshold to get that first round draft pick.
He did not get hurt, everybody, in case you're wondering.
He was pulled because they won 31-0.
They were blowing out the Texans. Sam Ellinger came in, took some kneel downs, handed the ball off. So
yeah,
there you go.
So yeah, exactly. Washington, of course, like I said, won 17-15. The Rams beat up on the Jaguars 37-7. Jaguars are awful. The Steelers beat the Ravens 20-19, and the Seattle Seahawks beat the 49ers 30-23. That's surprising with the product we saw on Monday night against Washington. Yeah. They came back and they won and they beat, San Francisco.
Yeah, and for fantasy purposes, just stay away from the Seattle backfield. The only thing that I have to say in closing is fire Mike Zimmer and fire Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Hey,
make the NFL a better place.
Adrian Peterson did have a touchdown. Now
he also had
11 carries,
11 yards. 1.5 yards per carry with a long of 7. Woof.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. They did have 231 total rushing yards because of not 200. They had 146 rushing yards because Travis Homer had a 73-yard touchdown run. So, or 73-yard run. So there's that. But again, the Eagles get the W, move to 6-7. We have a bye week. We are trying to get a guest for our Wednesday show. Or maybe try to get someone to, break down the first half of the Eagles season. I'm going to go over a couple of our sponsors. Statement Games, fun-free twist on fantasy sports. Manscaped.com. As partnered with AATBirds. Use the code AATBirds for 20% off and free shipping at checkout. I will not do what Chip does. That's his
Your
thing.
balls will thank you.
Well, you did it, so there you
Was
go.
that good? Was that close?
Better than when I do it. So yeah,
Okay.
it was good. AATsportsnetwork.com/shop. Get some gear. Holidays are here. Oh, I like to see that. Oh, I should use that more. Symbol, the stock market for sports, symbol.com. Use the promo code AAT Sports when you sign up. And All About the Birds partnered with La Terrain Luxury Watches. Use the code AATBirds for checkout and 10% off. Funkbrewing.com. You can get any type of brewing, any beers that they have, get them shipped to you. And All About the Birds expanding. Please follow AAT Sports Network on Twitter at AAT Sports _. Sports is what we're all about. And, with that, it's going to kind of seal it up. And we have a pretty loaded schedule this week. Monday, well, I don't know if the name has changed. There'll be some announcement on Chip's show. He's probably going to drop that, if not tonight, tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. He will have his show. Very interesting and really cool that we have this new collaboration. Yes, go Birds, Adam. We're almost there. Tuesdays, Burning Bridges. Jeremy and I will be on. Doing what we always do. Jeremy's a great podcaster, great host. What he does is awesome. We're so glad to have him on here. And then Wednesday, of course, is our weekly report show. We'll break down the first half of not the first half, the first 3/4 of the Eagles season. And then on Thursday, I'm not sure if we have anything Thursday yet, because I know the Union, unfortunately, I think their season did end today. So
Boo.
Just keep an eye out for all our YouTube exclusive shows. Birds, Beers, and BS are on Fridays, usually drop. That's YouTube exclusive with Jeff and Peanut. Don't miss that. Always great content. They always get fired up, and we love to see that. Very good show there. Don't miss out on Brer's Buckets. Mike Breer, one of our writers, with a lot of great content, a lot of great betting stuff that he has on there. Is so knowledgeable in college basketball. So definitely check that out. And soon we'll be starting to talk about the NFL draft. So keep an eye out there. You may see something coming your way in terms of a show with that. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on that. And then, we'll do it all over. Of course, no Eagles game, so there'll be no post-game show next week. But stay tuned. Follow us. You can follow Mike at Rewind CEO, and you follow myself at JohnnyU9322. Of course, follow AAT Birds and AAT Sports _ You can follow our YouTube channel, AAT Sports Network, our Facebook page, AAT Sports Network, and our Instagram page, which is AAT Birds. So, there that all is. And with that, hey, Eagles get the W. And what do we say? Go Birds.
Go Birds.